And he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hat-trick from Taz.
Big flashes in and casts the ultimate. Lina, a 20 health left. Oh, no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. An amazing defense. Champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. We are here in Kiev, Ukraine for the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge Kiev, and we have games coming up very soon. Actually, Solo Mid are in a cab or almost here, something to that effect. They got a little bit lost on their way to the venue. So
we are almost certain that they are not going to be sold by crazy Russian mafia people.
That'd be good. That'd be good if they
yes.
didn't get abducted. That they play video games, and we want them to play video games for all you guys. So they will be here soon. We will have that first game of the day, which is Curse versus Team Solo Mid, coming up very shortly. So we're here in Kiev, and of course, not exactly a home field advantage for the American teams, but first game of the day is a couple of Americans. So who do you think is going to do well in this one?
It's going to be pretty tough to say. Traditionally, you'd say TSM, obviously, because they're the big name, and Curse also have a couple of problems with the lineup, which I guess we're going to go into in just a minute. But TSM, I don't know if you guys have been watching the streams. Recently, the scrims haven't been going that well for them.
Not so much.
Now, there's a difference between scrimming and offline tournaments, so it could still be that they'll come here and totally dominate their group, but it's pretty much open, which is, of course, a freak the way we like it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's game.
I think it is really kind of anyone's tournament this time around. I think one of the heavy favorites just going into this has been Moscow 5, which is in Group B. We'll actually see them tomorrow. But they've sort of been like the team that everyone kind of thinks is going to win, which is also kind of odd because we haven't seen them at a Challenger Circuit event yet. We've seen a lot of the big names, Fnatic and SK and CLG, and a lot of those aren't here today actually. In terms of the Intel Extreme Masters series, and the top two overall seeds going into the March's sort of grand final event, CLG and Fnatic, neither are here today. They actually both failed to qualify. SK Gaming, of course, are here. Team Solo Mid are here. Cypher are here. So we have a lot of those big name teams, but we're it's the last time for these teams to actually jockey for position and qualify for the CBIT, the one in Hanover.
Of course, Fnatic and CLG are already qualified for that one since they both won an event.
They're happy as well. SK also already in, Road Elite already in, and Team Solo Mid. So this is the 5, by the way, if you're curious as for who's fighting for position here and who isn't. Any team here can qualify for the Hanover World Championships in about 2 months. The 5 that are already qualified are Counterlogic Gaming, Fnatic, SK Gaming, Road Elite, and Team Solo Mid. Everyone else here has to fight to get there. Every other team needs to play as well as they can and get along and get up there and make it to the grand finals. Of course, everyone here is still fighting for lots of money, $12,000 for the first place team. Kind of a big deal. Seems like it'd be useful to win some money.
You could buy some food with that money.
A little bit of food.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Spending money.
Yeah, sure,
nice.
Yep,
it's definitely going to be a very interesting first day already here. Possibly tomorrow with M5 with the and everything just went dark. That's cool. All right. So possibly with M5 tomorrow, it may be a little bit more interesting in Group B, but Group A is still plenty interesting. Like you said, it's going to set. I think the first game is going to set very much the tone. Is TSM still going to be really as strong as they are, as strong as they used to be in the end of last year, or is Curse, just going to step up? And I think we're going to go over to the whole Curse question in just a moment, because while we're still waiting for the TSM guys to arrive here, we have a member of Curse standing by for an interview with you.
Yep, we have Liquid 112, who's the team manager and actually going to be playing in this tournament for them. He was part of the starting roster a few months back, and then he said, "I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to function as team manager for the team. We have a roster of players who I believe are better than me, and we'll have them play, but I'll take on leadership role, and cool for that." But yeah, I think they have one starting member at this tournament here. They've got Cop, and everyone else are generally speaking is normally a sub or everything to that effect, or a Russian. They're actually bringing in Flash in the Night as their 5th, as Nijak. He actually got stuck up in China.
That happens. So I think we're going to go very quickly to a quick bumper, and then we're going to go over to the interview with Liquid. And right after that, for you guys, don't go anywhere. Right after that, we should have the well, I'm saying right after that, very soon after that, we should have the TSM versus Curse game there. And yeah, I think we're ready backstage. We are just going to cut over to a bumper right now. Be back in a moment.
And he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hat-trick from Taz.
Big flashes in and casts the ultimate. Lina, a 20 health left. Oh, no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. An amazing defense. Champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. And we are here, of course, with Liquid 112 team captain for Curse. So
What's up?
the very first question, of course, is the lineup. Tell us what happened. Why are you missing so many of your players?
Well, the first thing was that we found out they were going to go to IEM Kiev the week before the event. Okay. So, as you know, Goose qualified for the event, so they put a post out. They said they weren't going. We were offered because we were on the bubble on the qualifier, so we went in, we made it happen, we got our passports, and so there was a few people that couldn't make it. We had Crumbs, he did his passport through the mail, so he's waiting for it to come, so it hasn't come yet.
Ouch.
Yeah, totally sucks. And then we have Elements. We wanted to kind of follow tradition with CLG, so we figured we'd just bench him. So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, he's actually taking some classes that he couldn't get out of, so he can't do that. And then we have who else? Pobelter, and Pobelter's 15, so he can't play in IEM events.
You have to be 16 or older to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he just turned 15. So.
Ouch.
Yeah,
so next year, 2013, the year of Pobelter.
Yep.
Okay.
It will be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then who do you have playing?
And Jackie. So
not Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie. Which totally is. We bought the ticket. You know, we spent like $1,300 to fly him from Shanghai to get into Kiev, and he got there. I guess his visa paperwork wasn't done right. I think there was actually a couple other players that were leaving from Shanghai that had the same issue, so he couldn't come. So we went on to Reddit. We put a post. We said, "Hey, we need a fifth," and then Flash responded. So it worked out really well.
So what is your lineup for the event then?
So we've got Flash, Jaximus, and we've got Sidco or Tom, and me on support, and then. Say again?
Cop.
Yeah, and Cop.
The actual fifth.
Yeah, I always name him last.
So what roles everyone playing now that you've got this giant roster switch? You said you're on support, Cop's on your AD, so what's everything else?
Yeah, so we have Jaximus plays certain junglers, and Tom plays certain junglers, and they also play certain APs, so we might, depends on the picks and bans, but we might have Jaximus go top, or we might have him jungle. Same thing with Sidco. And then we have Flash play mid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's actually an extremely strong player.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I didn't know too much about Flash when he responded on the post, but then I did some research. I talked to some other players. Actually, he was, I guess, going through the tryout phase to get on SK with all the roster switches. So I guess they decided to go with somebody else, but he was kind of like second pick. So
that'll be interesting when you guys, because you're in the same group as SK.
Yes,
so like second or third round, he'll be like, "So you didn't like me in the tryout, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
show you up.
What you got, Ocelot? I think I'm going to take you now." So
we actually have a history of doing stuff like that. The whole double lift thing.
Yeah. So. Trade double lift for elements.
And then we beat them in the next big tournament. So it felt pretty good.
All right, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So then, what are your expectations then coming into this tournament?
We want to get to Hanover. That's like our #1 goal. So in order to do that, I think we have to get out of the group stage.
Okay.
So we're going to try as hard as we can to do that, and then whatever happens after that is just icing on the cake.
Okay. So then walk us through. So you're focused most on the group stages, and the other teams in your group, Team Solomid, SK Gaming, and White Lotus. What do you know about these teams? Do you have anything special prepared for them? Expectations for these games individually?
Yep. We did some research on White Lotus, so we have some champions that we know we're going to ban. We have some strategies for them. SK, it's really up in the air because I know that they just did a lot of roster switches. So actually having Flash join in was probably pretty good. So he's got some inside knowledge, hopefully. So we're actually working up some team comps right now.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Cool. And then Solomid.
Team Solomid. I mean, we've scrimmed TSM a lot. We've played in all the NA tournaments. So it's always back and forth. They'll win a game, we'll win a game. So it really just depends on who makes the first mistake.
Yep. So who are you most afraid of then coming into this group?
Probably SK.
Okay.
Yeah, and then TSM, and then
just White Lotus again.
Yeah, I just don't know much about them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So then overall tournament. Let's see you make out of the group stage, and you're most afraid of SK. Let's say SK wins, you get second in the group. Why not? Full tournament. Who's gonna win?
I would say M5 has been really showing some stuff. So if they can keep that steam going, then I think that they really have a shot at it. Okay. AAA, they are right on the bubble with us for IEM Hanover. So we'd prefer for them not to get in the top because then they'd work more points, which would push us down. So hopefully they don't make it up there. But I think I think SK, Dignitas, you know, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes they just come out with some really unique strategies, you know, stuff that has never been played before, and it just ends up winning because nobody can figure out how to counter that strategy, you know, in the bans and picks, which is just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So then, hopefully trying to get some more revealing questions in here. None of the other players are watching, hopefully. You know, can you actually give us some real strategies? You said you were talking about team comps. You know what to ban. You know, what specifically can we expect to see from you guys?
You know, there's a lot of options out there. There's AOE, which is pretty strong right now, if the right bans are in place, which is good. You know, heal comp is really taking kind of a hit lately, so I'm not sure we might be running that. Maybe. And then there's just the hyper carry comp, which is just try to get as many hyper carries as possible. Maybe one doesn't work out and doesn't farm as well as the others, but you've got Vayne to back you up or Tryndamere, so somebody will carry the game.
Okay.
So it's probably one of those three strategies.
Yeah. How many supports do you know nowadays?
More than just Soraka.
Okay, that's good. So you're not going to get banned out all the time?
Yeah, no. You know, there's a lot of supports. I think that people have been playing, like, you know, Leona and Gangplank and a couple others that haven't traditionally been played. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So let me think of one more really revealing question. Yeah. Now I hear myself delayed in the headset. It's really hard to talk.
Yeah, I know. I hear myself too. It's kind of weird.
I'm trying to think. Okay. So we're in the draft against Solomid. It's going to happen in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, what do you hope they play?
Hopefully
favorite
they're not
champions.
watching. Yeah. Well, you know.
I'm not even here yet.
Yeah.
How
well,
could they be?
oh, that's true. Well, you know, Reginald is always playing very aggressive styles. So there are certain, like, you know, he's really strong with Karthus. They run a Karthus Trundle comp, which is like a double slow, and really low cooldown on the wall and the pillar. So they can basically spam that and then hope you flash out and then just respam and then just focus on whoever gets slowed, which is a really effective comp. And Karthus is one of the biggest hyper carry APs mid because he just scales better than any AP champion in the game. So, you know, we're worried about that. So, yeah, I mean, but he's also been playing LeBlanc a lot, but LeBlanc is hit or miss. She falls off late game. So, you know, maybe hoping that he goes towards more of the maybe LeBlanc strategy.
Okay, you're just hoping he sort of, you know, picks something that'll fall off late game so you can hyper carry them? Is that the goal?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys just met up with Flash, right? And you're talking about team comps now and stuff, and he's playing your solo mid. What are his strengths? What do you know about him so far?
So far, I know that he plays most of the APs. From what I hear, he's one of the best Xerath players in EU, so that's pretty cool. There's, you know, just limited champions that, you know, counter Xerath, so that's pretty strong. I know he plays a really good Morgana, so, you know, we're just going to have to work this out. I mean, literally, he came in the door. He flew in at 10:30. He came to the event probably 30 minutes ago, and we're meeting him for the first time, and we're like, okay, what do you play? And we actually have a spreadsheet in Excel, and we're, like, listing out all of our champions and trying to figure out what synergizes the best. So, yeah, we really haven't had much time to work on this. You know, that's why, you know, my expectations and my goals are just let's get out of the group stage and, you know, do the best that we can. I mean, we don't have our main. We've got a lot of problems and just, you know, the late notice on the tournament, so it kind of messed with things. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to think. Do you have any like shout outs for people back home, for your teammates or fans or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, all the players that couldn't make it, you know, wish you were here. And then, of course, to Goose, they qualified for this event, so kudos goes out to them. I mean, I wish they could have come. It was not cheap to get out here. Thank God for our sponsor, Curse.com. I mean, they paid for all of our travel, hotel, you know, takes $7,000-8,000 to get the whole team out here, so it's pretty expensive. So, yeah, shout outs to them.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything, you know, really special you're hoping to show off this tournament?
We have a pretty unique strategy planned if we get out of group stage, so we don't want to show it off yet.
Okay.
But yeah, once we do that, I think everybody will be like, "Wow, people are playing that."
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll win with it.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So let's see. What else do you have to say? Do you have any other, you know, words of encouragement or anything at all? I'm kind of out of questions that are meaningful, actually.
No, Kiev is kind of crazy, I know, but like it's really cold here.
It's
freezing.
It's a good like -5 Celsius. It's like 20-ish degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I mean, we were walking around yesterday, and there was like this whole underground city below the main arena area, and there's like stray dogs walking around, and everybody's like, all the girls are wearing these like fur jackets and stuff. It's just crazy.
So tell us more about your experiences with Kiev. That's a good train of thought to go on to. How much have you guys traveled as Curse, and how much have you personally?
Yeah, I mean, we've done actually all of our events have been domestic. I mean, in the States, we've done IPL. So New York, we did North Carolina, we did one in San Francisco. So this is our first international event. I've only traveled a few times here. I went to Paris, UK. I've been to Barcelona, so this is my first time more on the Eastern European side. So yeah, but Kiev is cool. It's different. It's just difficult because I don't think a lot of the people here are used to tourists coming in, so not a lot of people speak English.
Yeah, that's true.
It's difficult. But the currency exchange rate is awesome. It's like super cheap to buy stuff. Yeah. I went to get a bottle of water and it ended up being like 25 cents. US.
It's pretty legit. Yeah, there's actually there's a giant shopping mall like across the street basically, and it's like 15 stories tall. Like I'm from America, the land of gluttony and excess, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Is massive.
Yeah, it's crazy, and all the cars are like really small, but everybody drives on the right side of the road.
Well, I think most countries do that. I think.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But.
So any cool stories from Kiev so far? When did you actually get in? So how long have you been here?
Yeah, we got in yesterday about 10 o'clock, and we just hung out. There's actually the hotel that we're staying at. There's a poker. There's like a casino right next door. So we played some blackjack and some poker and stuff.
You win any money?
I lost the first night, and then I won a little bit the second. So yeah.
Okay, so actually looks like we are actually going to be ready to go. And,
okay, cool. Yeah.
I actually don't know what that hand gesture means. Okay, we actually we're going to show SK versus White Lotus. So you guys actually have a bit of a break then.
Oh, we do.
And you can actually talk with your friends some more
you
now.
have some time to do some strategy. I was actually a little worried they were just going to tell me what I'm going to play. So.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you very much for the time here. Best of luck to you today.
All right. Thanks, Freak.
Absolutely. So we will have Dan Klein coming back in, and we actually will be doing White Lotus versus SK. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find myself into this game, and man is joining up in. Come hop on in, good sir. I'm clicking my spectate button, and we do have quite a number of players up in here, and of course WL is White Lotus, and White Lotus are the Ukrainian team. So
they won the qualifier. We had a special qualifier. Normally the way it goes is that the country wherever the Intel Extreme Masters is hosted has a regional, like a national champion. Like in Germany, that would be the EPS winner.
Yeah.
But there is no such thing here in the Ukraine, so they put on a qualifier for that.
Okay.
And they won that quite convincingly, I hear. So
nice.
It's good.
Yeah, I actually talked with some of the other players about what they know about White Lotus because I mean they're honestly a big unknown this tournament. We don't quite know their level of power here, but it's like no, they're platinum rated players. Like they're definitely good. Like we're not gonna just run solo top Evelyn against them. It's fine. We'll play for real. They're definitely a good team. And actually, it almost is always sort of the unknown that comes out and does so well. For example, the last IEM stop. I mean, we did know that Cypher was a good team, but they still played some of the most unknown stuff. They were playing Urgot, they're playing solo top Nasus. One of the first times I've seen Nasus in tournament play, and they took third place. And taking third place to Fnatic and SK, like that's decent. And then you beat teams like Counterlogic Gaming for third, and it's like, all right. And of course they're here today as well. They'll be playing tomorrow from Group B, Cypher for example. So I do have high hopes for White Lotus, and really anything. Anything can happen this tournament. We are 9 players into the game and 3 spectators so far. All of White Lotus is in SK. We're waiting for their last one. Looks like Ocelot is not in right now. But that will be the first game of the day. Is going to be a all-European affair. And now Xenon's in the game, and we're just waiting for the 10th. So you actually know SK quite well, of course.
Yes. So there's been a couple of changes, just like Liquid pointed out, but it's not that much. It's not like these people haven't been playing with each other. They know each other very, very well. So Sleazy Weezy is back for the 3rd time in SK. It's been on and off, kind of coming back all the time, leaving again, and it got a little dark again.
Our light is falling apart.
That's fine, though. That's totally fine. So Sleazy, of course, won the silver medal with SK at WTG 2010. You should remember that because you.
I do. I remember that one. Yeah, I did. It was quite good. And D-Man, who's right here helping our light not fall apart, was there with me as well. So
yeah. So they also have. So they have him for jungle right now. It's kind of an open secret that they want a different jungler. I'm not sure if I should say the name because I'm not quite sure how open the secret is. But they want a different jungler. There's still a bit of a contractual issue there until they can get him. So Sleazy Weezy is just filling in temporarily for them. He is concentrating very much on his studies at the moment, so he can't really be taking full part in it. And then they have Kevin, who, according to most people I spoke to, is possibly the best top laner in Europe. So
Really?
he is feared. He's really feared.
Feared?
Yes. And the
What
thing
are his
is,
best champions?
that's exactly the thing. He doesn't. He's not. You cannot reduce him to champions. He plays anything.
So
top
he's
lane.
not Wicked, he plays only Aurelia.
I did not want to say that. Thank you for saying it. Yes. Yeah, he's exactly. He cannot be outbanned. He plays pretty much anything top lane, and I've seen him play some of the recent AD range that's played top lane, like Vayne and Graves. Yeah.
Nice.
And he's been playing those really well as well. But he plays all the classic traditional top laners as well.
Oh, awesome.
So Sleazy, Candy Panda and Niv, of course, know Kevin because they played with him in Game DE back at DreamHack. So it's not like these people have never played together. This team has only been together like this for like 2 weeks now, but they've been scrimming really hard. They've all played together with each other in different teams before. Never exactly with this composition, but still, I mean, pretty good. Pretty good.
How have the scrims been going?
Very good for SK. I don't think they lost a lot of them. I didn't keep score, but they're at least neutral, if not positive.
Oh, that's pretty good.
They've won against TSM, I think, a couple of times. I'm not sure that there was. I think there was one best of 3 they won that actually TSM came out ahead. That was like the only scrim series that TSM won recently. Sorry, TSM.
Okay.
But yeah, I know that they've been scrimming against CLG EU yesterday very hard, who was supposed to have this slot, obviously, and they went kind of equal with them. And CLG EU is considered possibly the strongest team in Europe at the moment.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they're definitely up there. It's not like these guys haven't been practicing enough and not going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, cool.
I would predict them they're probably going to be in the top 2 slots in this group. So I would be very, very surprised if they don't make out the group.
So who do you think other than SK for top 2?
That's the big question. We really have to see what kind of shape TSM are in.
Okay.
Normally, I'd say TSM, but I don't know. I like the Curse guys. I kind of like Liquid a lot, so he deserve it as well. And White Lotus are completely unknown to me. I just looked up some of the results. They did really well. They peaked at, I think, 4th in ranked ladder in EU West. So that's pretty good. You know that EU West has actually taken the 5v5 rank very, very seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Like NA. So
well, yeah.
They're like 300 elo above the top rated NA teams.
So they're really using that for practice?
Yeah, they are. They really are. Like if they can't find a scrim, they'll just go on the ladder and they'll actually meet some of the other really top teams.
That's got to be really cool for the other, all the up-and-coming teams, that they actually can repeatedly play against a lot of these top teams because they'll find them on the ladder.
It's almost like we planned it.
I'm glad it's at least working out on one side of the pond.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I don't know if you heard that, but the Opman was saying in an AMA on their forums that they are planning to move their accounts, or rather play up US accounts.
Yeah, get level 30 accounts on US West to start playing ranked teams ladder because they can constantly find. And actually, I actually do remember that because I remember the reason they chose to move to the East Coast of the US is that they would have decent 100-ish ping when playing on the EU servers, and they're actually putting that forward and actually playing on EU. So. We'll see what kind of practice Solomid have been having for themselves. One thing actually I thought was kind of interesting. Basically, I was actually watching a lot of their scrims as well, how they were losing their games pretty frequently on stream. And the theory that I heard, which I think is actually clever and what's actually happening, is that they're basically playing and not messing around, but they're picking suboptimal lineups or making mistakes on purpose, and streaming themselves losing games to these top teams where they're like, oh yeah, we lost to Moscow 5, yeah, we lost to SK, oh yeah, finally won a series, and then like the weekend before the tournament, they're just like, oh, streams are all off, and they're just scrimmaging teams offline, and they're just winning and playing for real, and they're just going to kind of show up and dominate, and that's the theory that I heard for a while, and I kind of believe it. Because I know Solomid are definitely able to win tournaments. Sometimes like at IEM New York, they lose every game, and then there's some tournaments where they just crush out and stop losing when it counts. And I feel like it could be either one of those TSMs, but I'm going to hold optimism there. I think they're of course a very good team. They're very established, and they can definitely do this. So White Lotus said they had a little bit of problems with TeamSpeak. They're all back in the game right now, though. So I'm going to see if they're actually good to go this time. And yeah, so we asked the ready question and everything okay. And we'll see what these players think if they're good to go and if we are good to start these games. But we are just on the cusp of starting Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge Kiev. The first match of the day going to be White Lotus, the Ukrainian qualified team, and SK just from the general European qualifier. SK say that they are ready, so if White Lotus are good to go, we're going to have the game starting up pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So the first thing to look forward to in SK is still that their number one strength that carried them all the way to the second place in New York, I believe, is their bottom lane. So Nif and Candy Panda.
And they haven't changed since forever.
Yeah, they've been playing together. I mean, they've been playing together in game as well. Yeah. So these guys, they're such a strong bottom lane. So I'm going to be looking at that a little bit. Also, Lotus tends to be one of those, flamboyant mid lane APs who goes for the kills.
Yeah.
Sometimes he loses the lane because he does that. Because he's just like, oh, I'm going to kill you at second tower level 4. That's cool because, people like to see that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
He does play to the audience a little bit, but he is a very, very solid player. We're going to have to see how Sleazy's gangs are. I think that's the one question for SK.
Yeah.
Is he actually going to work well? And Sleazy plays, let's say, non-traditional junglers. I mean, he can play all the big OP junglers, but he really likes to play those slow and sort of tanky junglers like Amumu. He's really known for his Amumu, and I don't think anyone else plays Amumu anymore.
That's interesting. Actually, I think he's quite strong. Of course, that ultimate really enables both ganks and a lot of team compositions.
Yeah, but you need to have the team composition that can really take advantage of that. Yeah. Like an AoE composition, Amumu is god, but I don't know. I don't really see AoE compositions that much anymore.
Okay, well, Curse said they might actually try some out. They said there are a lot of things that they're going to try. That they actually weren't big believers in healers anymore so much. So we'll see what kind of stuff comes out. If so, what kind of playstyles do you actually see from SK?
So SK. I don't know that I've seen like one clear line yet in this team setup. It used to be that, of course, with Wicked they had the constant AFK farm top, kind of like CLG US, where they just take it out to the very, very long end game, and then they have this unkillable whatever from top lane and win everything with that. Kevin is a lot more mobile, and I really like to see that. So he does leave his top lane whenever he feels it's a good idea. So that enables them to take early dragon fights, which they wouldn't have done so much before. The other question is, Candy and Nif sometimes kind of miss the opportunity to come up from their bottom lane. They're like, they prefer to stay there and farm, right? Unlike some other bottom lanes, they'll come up at the slightest sign of trouble, like Lamia Melly will run up when there's anything fighting in the jungle, they immediately run out of the bottom lane. So they tended to be a little bit more passive, but I really don't know how it's going to work out with Sleazy and with Kevin in the team. That's going to be very, very interesting to watch. Otherwise, SK tend to be the team that plays it safe until they have the first kind of advantage, and then they just brutally drive the advantage home. Yeah. So I'd expect to see something like that probably. Okay. Yeah, I know that Candy likes to play Kog'Maw, who seems like the epitome of AFK and farm in lane of all ADs. Are we going to see him just run that again? It's currently considered not the best AD in Europe for some reason. It's pretty much severe Graves, like in the US. So I don't know if anyone in this tournament is going to run a Kog'Maw. It's probably going to be Candy Panda, but I'm not sure if he's going to do it. I think we theory crafted a little bit yesterday about with Lee and Joe. If you do want to run a Kog'Maw, you basically need 4 bodyguards just to keep him safe. And he kills everyone in 3 shots. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. All right, I think we're almost ready. White Lotus is saying again, almost ready, almost ready. Cool. Yeah, they still have problems. Yep. Which screen are we going to use for the picks and bans? I think we're going to use for yours. Yours is nicely set up already. I'm just making mine. Dragged and stretched and all pretty. Yep. I don't. Okay, so White Lotus, let's say go. Looks like we are pretty much good to go. SK said they were ready before. White Lotus said they were good as well. Looks like Nif is the host for the game, so he does have control. And we are in a champion select, and White Lotus are going to be first pick, first ban. They're going to be blue team, and they're going to start banning their first champion. We're going to see what they're going to go for here. It could be a counter ban to also. No, it's actually going to be straight for the jungle. Ramus, of course. Ramus is another one of those jungle champions that Sleazy likes to play. Something very tanky. He's pretty good with that as well. And a beast ganker too. Let's be fair. Yes, Ramus kind of blows people up. Yep. Now let's see how much homework SK did. Liquid just said they did a lot of homework for White Lotus, and there's a Karthus ban right now. So unfortunately, I didn't do enough homework to know if that's targeted at anyone. But clearly, Karthus is one of those champions that you generally do want to ban. And the Morgana ban from White Lotus, that makes a lot of sense. Oslo plays a very, very, very strong Morgana, and that's this kind of champion. If Morgana is ever ahead, she will pretty much ruin the game for the enemy team. And Trainer Maybe getting banned out. So SK are banning these sort of hyper carries that Liquid was talking about. There's the Karthus super scaling, Trainer Maybe super scaling. There's the Cassiopeia ban against Nif, or not against Nif, rather, against SK Ocelot. So not really surprised. So yeah, the 2 caster bans there. There's the jungler ban on the Rammus, and we're going to see what else is going to get dropped out here, because Amumu's still there for SK, of course. Yeah, but is that really a big enough pickup for them? They really need to build the match around the team setup around that.
Yeah, but he's an available option rather.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So it is the last ban for SK.
I'd not be surprised to see. Oh, actually, Vayne. Okay,
Wow,
so they
all
are
hyper carries.
All hyper carries, indeed. Yeah.
Okay.
They just don't want any of that nonsense. And that's the Skarner. I was about to say they could just pick up the Skarner.
Yeah.
Because this is pre-Skarner nerf. If you thought the Skarner nerf in our most recent patch was harsh, it wasn't. Skarner is really kind of ridiculous in this patch level. So this is, for the record, this is... Oh, we seem to be having a bit of a problem with the picks from SK. We'll figure out what's happening right now. So this is the patch with... the Ari patch level with Victor and the hotfixes to Victor in it. But it does not have the all the balance and changes that came with the Sejuani patch. Is that how you pronounce it?
Sejuani?
Sejuani? Okay. You dictate the pronunciation now.
It's true, actually. Yeah, my job gets now be how's I ask, of course, but then I'm like, well, if I said it wrong, it's too late, everybody.
Right.
It's now Sejuani.
Yeah, apparently they weren't seeing picks. That's a bug we sometimes have in the tournament. Remember, you're kind of picking blind because you don't see the enemy picks. So, but when that happens in Go for LoL, actually what happens is that they'll open a little chat, a PvP chat, and say, oh, we picked this champion and this champion and this champion. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that in an actual tournament. I mean, an actual offline tournament with a lot of money on the line. Yep. Yeah, we did see the picks from here, but sometimes it's just one or two accounts that don't see the picks.
Interesting. Yeah, so we saw them. We saw that first pick, Skarner. Oh, I see. So Ocelot's gonna add me to friends, and we can just message back and forth what the picks are.
All right, cool.
So I'll be able to be, hey, they picked this, and as long as I type quickly enough, we'll be okay. So
Ocelot is not like your friend. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm now friends with a Spaniard. Nice.
Okay, Darker is back in as well. I think he just left for some reason.
Yeah.
White Lotus is Darker. Yeah. Okay, I'm just waiting for White Lotus to confirm that they're ready. We're gonna have to repeat the exact same bands. Let's see if they remember.
That should be okay.
That should be fine. Yeah, we had a Ramos band.
Morgana, Cassiopeia, Rammus on one side, and then they had Vayne, Tryndamere, Karthus on the other.
Yep, exactly.
They're even doing them in the same order. That's so sweet of them.
That's very nice of them. Yep. Definitely nothing irregular going on here. And if you want, we can take the video from my screen as well, because we're not going to have the chat with Ocelot on my screen.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
All right, and the last band will be Vayne, and then we'll be into the pick. So here we go. White Lotus are...
They still have to first pick Skarner. I mean, that's... Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
And if White Lotus have problems seeing the picks, then of course we'll do this again, and I'll friend them, and then all will be well.
Yes. Okay, and let's see if we see the picks for SK. I think we should, because I think our account is probably linked up. Yep, that's the Sivir. Yeah, that's, like I said, currently Sivir, Graves considered the two strongest ADs in Europe.
Yep. So
and that's going to be Soraka. That's just, it's definitely going to be a Soraka for because Sivir really, really benefits from the mana from Infuse, and Soraka is just considered OP a spot at the moment. She's just, you know, she will make any mistake that you make in lane just not matter, because you're going to be mailed up again. Yep. Actually, they're going to delay the pick of a support, and they're going to go for the jungler there.
Yep.
This is kind of strange, because you wouldn't run Maokai top lane, would you? So, I mean,
I've seen Maokai played in every lane, honestly. I mean, it's a little bit rare, let's be fair.
Okay.
But like I've seen solo mid mage Maokai, especially against Maokai is really great against someone like Karthus, because his passive, every time a spell is cast around him, he gains a charge, and then he smacks a guy and he gains some healing. So when you're fighting Karthus, who casts a spell every second and a half, you can't die. It's almost impossible.
That's cool.
And you know, one of the things also in that matchup, for example, and of course this probably won't be the case, is like Karthus has no hard escape. So when you go to a gank, you're like, well, Twisted Advance, sup, bro. You're probably going to die. So
Irelia for the top lane there for White Lotus. Liking that. That's a very, very safe pick. I mean, we still haven't nerfed Irelia again, since we nerfed her like 5 times.
Yeah.
We're going to nerf her again, right?
Every patch.
Ever.
It's never in the patch notes, actually. Her base health is 3 right now, and you guys still don't know. She's still winning every game, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, so they've actually swept out Irelia for Graves.
Okay. It's wait for them to lock in, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm typing them in like and then all those like backspaces they changed to something else.
Yep.
I'm a little bit intrigued to see that they've actually picked a ranged AD so early, because they already know what the bottom lane is there.
You're not going to run a Sivir on top lane, are you? But they could pick Graves for top lane for SK.
Okay.
So Kevin could be running a Graves top lane.
Yep.
Graves is definitely locked in now for White Lotus.
Yep.
That's a very strong lane. Graves, Taric. That means, that means trouble. That means they want to pick fights in bot lane, and they want to win that lane very early.
That's Graves Tarek, and Osat's like, crap! No!
And there's the Soraka pickup. Yeah, that's no surprise to anyone at all.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I suppose you're right. That could be the Graves could be the top laner, but if we assume it's the ranged AD bot, we've already got our bot lanes pretty much picked up right here. You know, they basically they've mirrored each other, which is the cool thing, right? The guy rushed Skarneth and they rushed the Maokai, so both the junglers are there. He rushed Sivir, and so they grabbed the Tarek, and like they're just like picking each other lanes back and forth, which is very interesting. And yeah, there is the pickup there for so the Aurelia is going to be in there. That's going to be Kevin on Aurelia, and the Soraka is still is the grab there. So we do see the bottom lane, we do see the junglers on both sides. Except for White Lotus' last 2 picks.
And like I said, Kevin can play these traditional top laners like Aurelia, definitely. And on top of that, we just saw White Lotus toy with the idea of Aurelia. They picked her, and then they switched, I think, to Graves. So they kind of showed their hand. We're like, we're thinking about Aurelia. Maybe that's a mind game as well. Maybe they're just doing that to mess with SK.
Yeah, although remember, SK can't see their picks, so I guess it's not really a thing.
Yes, maybe they don't realize that. It's possible. We'll see. Alright, there's a Yorick for the top lane. That could be very interesting. XP has been playing a lot of Yorick in top lane these days. I don't know what happened because we haven't touched Yorick in a couple of patches, and he like completely went away, and then just like last patch or so, people start playing him top lane again all the time.
Yep. Well, like Dre, people forgot about him.
Yep. Yeah, but that's entirely possible. Sometimes we don't even have to change the champion. People just start playing it again because they see it again. They find some new way of playing it.
So I'm thinking it's actually AP Tarek top and support Yorick. I mean, not really, but yeah, Yorick top lane.
Let's see the AP. Obviously, Ocelot delaying his pick to last because he is the superstar.
And he'll be fighting Brand. And most of the mages are in. I mean, no Karthus, no Morgana, no Cassiopeia, but
Seraph is in.
Zillion, Xerath. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of options here.
Yeah, you definitely want to go for something with a long range against Brand. So Brand can't always land his abilities and trigger his passive for free. So I would definitely see a Seraph make sense. Maybe he wants to be Reginald again and he wants to go for a Cillian. I don't know that that's a very good idea here. Otherwise, though, you can play a lot of things mid. I mean, Brand is not like a hard counter to anything. Kassadin, of course, being a pretty hard counter to most APs. Okay. And Ocelot plays his Kassadin a little bit differently from how people usually build Kassadin. So if you have a quick look at the lineup, you'll see that there's no other mana-hungry champion. So Kassadin is going to get all the blues, right? But he's still going to build the tiers. Okay. Because he is going to base his Kassadin mostly on Rs. So he actually uses Rs not just for mobility, but for his main damage output, whereas most Kassadin players just go for the safe QE and then R away in case they get in trouble. Okay. So Ocelot does a little bit differently, and for that reason he needs the tiers, and that is telling me this is going to be a very passive game with SK not doing anything big for the first 15-20 minutes, because buying an early tiers means you are going to fall behind in power compared to the enemy AP for the first 15-20 minutes, because the tiers don't give you any actual ability power until you turn them into an Archangel stuff. Well,
with options like Aurelia and Sivir, I mean, they're extremely great late-game champions as well, so I wouldn't be that surprised to see that. Although they have to fight against this ticking time bomb that is Graves with a Yorick on your team, which means, no matter how farmed your AD is, we have AD times 1.5. Right. So whenever that happens, we've got the Yorick clone on that Graves, and Graves hits really hard. Like, that's just fine. So. He's going to rejoin. Apparently, he had a couple troubles with his rune page.
Yes, we should probably recreate it as a blind pick to make it a little bit faster.
Okay, sure.
Yep. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think the reason that SK are okay with a ticking time bomb over Graves is that they'll just assume their bottom lane is going to shut down Graves. Okay. Well, they have Candy Niv. That is a strong bottom lane. If any bottom lane can just shut down someone, that's probably them. So I can totally see that figuring into their strategy. And Keoksu, as I can see, opened a...
so the solo mid have shown up finally.
Yeah, that's very nice. I like that. It's good that they show up for the tournament that they're playing. All right.
SK vs WL is now the game.
Versus WL. Yeah. Okay, let's spectate that game.
All right, we do have at least 4 of the spectators in. Nif already sitting there as the game host, more or less, on purple. And we'll be getting the players in through this blind pick. Just kind of rush through, they'll get those locks in. Yep. And then we'll be good to go. Spectator delay really short as well, so we should actually be getting into the game very shortly. Additionally, that we won't have to wait for a big spectator delay timer.
Right. Yes, we got it down to I think 20 seconds or so. And excuse me while I just write down the picks and bans here because I'm going to be prepared this time around.
Oh, nice! Yes. Look at you being prepared.
I'm going to remember stuff in 5 minutes from now because if I don't write things down right now, 5 minutes from now I'll forget who's playing, what game this is.
And we have all the spectators in, right? We just had 4.
Yes, we had 4 spectators. Yes, that's correct. So there was the Karthus, Vayne, and Tryndamere were banned from SK. They really didn't like those guys.
Yep. And yeah, so we have everyone, grabbing the champions and locking in. Candypan is, of course, Sivir, Nif on Soraka. Ocelot, Cassid, and Sleazy Weezy jungling is Maokai, and Kevin going to be Aurelia, taking Ignite, by the way. No teleport. I know you said that he's a very mobile player, but I guess he's going to have to use his own feet for that. No summoner teleport there. Meanwhile, on the other side, we actually do have Ignite being picked up on that Taric, so he is going to go for that anti-heal, try to play aggressively. The Graves has Flash and a summoner heal for himself, so no exhaust, actually, interestingly. Whereas Nif actually taking Clairvoyance, so no Clairvoyance for White Lotus, yes for SK, but that Ignite is going to really counter that heal spam. So, the Soraka heal is worth about 320 at max rank. The Summoner heal on Sivir is going to be another 300 or something. Those are both going to get shut down during those 5 seconds. And another Ignite being up on Yorick. So actually we see a lot of Ignites, or 3 Ignites for White Lotus. 0 exhaust, they're not necessarily trying to shut down damage output, but they are trying to really crush those heals through.
Yes, absolutely. And that is absolutely a strong strategy against what's going on there from the other side. The question for me is really, I'm just looking at this. Yorick is going to be able to farm against Irelia no matter what, right? He's just going to spam ghouls all day long. Mid lane, Brand versus Kassadin. Yes, Kassadin can shut down any caster just because of his silence, but I can also see Brand just being safe, and once his W is high up enough, he can just farm safely if he wants to. So I really think this is going to come down to bottom lane and junglers. And I have to say here, in my opinion, Skarner is the stronger jungler than Maokai.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the ganks are going to be. So Soraka and Sivir can't force anyone to sit still,
right,
whereas Taric definitely can, and Graves to a small extent with a smoke cloud, though not exactly a giant slow there. And so I'm thinking about the gank paths. Bottom lane should be decently safe for purple team. There's no kind of wall you can kind of get around. So that should be okay. Blue team is actually the scary lane to be in at bot lane, whereas this Aurelia at top lane is actually a little bit difficult. You can get around through that tri-brush kind of gank there. And with Skarner and Yorick, you've got 2 perma-slows, which are the exact types of things you want to fight Aurelia. Aurelia's passive is that she takes basically shorter duration stun, slows, roots, things like that. Which doesn't
matter if you could just refresh it all the time.
Which, yeah, if they last 2 seconds and you can cast them on a 1.5 second cooldown, who cares? So interestingly, Aurelia actually might be pretty gankable here. That's actually a good lineup there that could shut that down. And meanwhile, of course, you do have the Taric stun and the possibility of the Skarner jumping at you. But when your ranged AD is Sivir, she has that spell shield that's going to make things just a bit difficult for you to deal with. So,
hey, Freak, let's talk really quickly about camera. Would you like me to run the camera? Would you like to run the camera? I can do it.
Whichever one. I think if one of us misses a fight, we can try to switch over. But maybe we'll sit on mine for now, and then we'll see how it goes. But if I'm failing at moving the camera around, then we'll switch it over. We'll see, who has the better habits.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Cool. So I do like the skins here, except for Yorick. Yorick a bit lazy there on the skins. That's a shame. Skarner as well. But yes, that Bloodstone Taric, that looks really good. And that's the Jailbreak Graves, isn't it? Jailbreak.
Yes.
Well, I don't know why we didn't call him like sci-fi Graves.
I don't know. But looks like skins advantage actually going to SK though, so that's actually quite the big deal. 5 versus 3.
No, it's not. No, last but you corrected me. I think it's my role.
Oh, yeah, that's
Skins
fair.
don't really matter, guys. They just make you look prettier.
That's true.
Yes.
Which can
make you more popular as well. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So do look pretty.
I still like telling the story of when I was at CBIT last year, and one of the players came up to me and was like, dude, Piltover Customs Blitzcrank is so phenomenal. The first time I played him, I actually died because of the skin. because I pressed W, and the horn sound made me fall off my chair laughing, and when I got back up, I was already dead. So there, you got to be a little bit careful about that, but else you'll be okay. So we are into the game. You can see White Lotus, blue team here, spawning in the bottom left, and they're, of course, going to be fighting against SK. It looks like actually a pause called in from Ocelot real quick. And I'm not actually quite sure what the problem is.
He says bug with Sleazy?
Oh, Sleazy's resolution is wrong. So.
All right. Okay. So he's just changing resolution right now. That shouldn't take too long. And yes, we do have a pause feature. I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Ready. Going. K. Looks like they're going to be all right to go for this, and then we'll be back into the game. So.
Yep.
Not a big problem here.
All right. Let's see if they actually want to have a fight at level 1. 7 unpause. No, try /unpause. That's better.
7 is a good way to start. Yeah.
Yep, and play is resuming. That's beautiful. Okay, cool. So let's see the pickups from the supports here. Very, very standard from Soraka. A pink ward, 2 green wards, a potion, and a fairy charm. Does that mean that she had the gold masteries? You're the king of Love.
I'm trying to think, because if you get a pink ward instead of a green ward, that instead of 2 green wards is 25 gold off. You could have done only 1 point in it and gotten this startup.
All right.
But
okay.
needed some of it, yes. Actually, here's what you can do. You just check the gold, and you can see that she has 1 point. I was right. Oh my god!
Look at that. Not bad. Look at
I'm
you
so
being
happy with
right.
myself right now. That was like.
I was like, I don't want to calculate that. I know Freak enjoys calculating things like that, so I'll just let him do it.
Yeah, I do know that if you do Fairy Charm 1 potion 4 green wards, that's 0 money if you got the gold mastery. If you got wealth. And so I'm like, well, let's see. Yeah. Okay, anyway. So we actually have Brand just waiting up in mid. We can see the oh, wow. You are, yeah, okay. So they're basically just looking around, trying to see the invades. You can see York up here watching the top, Brand watching mid, Graves watching towards the bottom. We had Tarek actually up towards the top in case there was an invasion, but he came down, and we're going to see if they actually go for the golems. So I've actually seen this a lot. Recently, as players, their bot lane will go for the double golem. There's the ping. Yep.
Yeah, if you do it right, you take nearly no damage. Let me just point out something cute real quick here. Maokai actually starting with 15 AP. That's exactly the amount of AP you need to one-shot the Wraiths there.
Yep.
And
So
that I'm sure he picked up from the Odd One, because for a long time, nobody but the Odd One actually did that. And yep, that is a very, very quick way to start. Look at that. So very, very quick to go to the Wolves right now. And he's probably just going to skip the Wolves and go for blue, yeah. So he starts basically with 3 Wraiths. That is pretty much a big deal.
Yep.
And Nif, very beautiful there, just to give vision on the other side, and just to shave off a few more seconds of that jungle route.
Absolutely, and you can see pulling that golem, actually taking a lot of damage for it, actually just letting Maokai go into this lane with full health. You can see Nif just actually sitting there tanking for a while, but got heal at level 1 is going to be okay. Sleazy, you can see, almost full health, has not used the potion, and that's going to be fine. Top lane, do you think it's going to be an aggressive, like a lot of damage coming out from York, or will it be a full sustain fest?
I would expect the sustain fest, you know, just like spamming E's. What's he called? Hungry, right? He's just going to spam Hungry all the time.
Fair enough.
Isn't it Stinky, Spooky, and Hungry? No, Spooky, Stinky, and Hungry. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Spooky, Stinky, and Hungry.
Omen of Famine, by the way, for those who want to know. The name of the spell and not the ghoul.
Yes. Right.
Yep.
Bottom lane looks like just the usual farming, everybody being very, very passive there. And Ocelot has actually taken quite some damage already there. In mid lane is popping potions and is holding back. Obviously, Kassadin is not going to be that strong until he hits level 6. That's when he becomes a threat.
You know, interestingly, he actually put level 2 into Netherblade, so he's using that either to regain some mana to spam Qs more, and also when you activate it, you last hit pretty easily. Your attack basically goes up to like 100 or so. And I'm just looking at his whole setup, and he's only got 10 AP, so he's got runes somewhere that aren't just flat AP. So. A little bit defensive of a start there for him. A little bit
magic resist, I believe. And
yeah,
the reason and he eats another W. Ooh, that wasn't so good. Anyway, the reason he does the W, of course, is because he's going to use the R offensively, and then when he's in your face, he's going to want to proc the Netherblade.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would even be surprised to see him maxing it first. I mean,
really?
Or second after Q, obviously. I mean, Q
interesting.
We'll have to see. He's probably going to get a little bit of E just for the slow, but so far it's two in Q and 1 in W.
Maokai is coming into gank top lane. Sleazy's there in the brush, already level 4.
No, that's fast.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to wait for... Yep, he goes for the last hit, and there he goes, up in there. He's got the root down. There's the slow as well. Famco taking a lot of damage, down to half already. Jumped in from there by Aurelia, but he's going to get out just in time. 200 health as he's going through the health potion. Meanwhile, mid, a little bit scary for Ocelot, but he's surviving for now.
Oh, and Sleazy failing the flash there as he just came back, because Famco did pop the ghost to get out of that gank. Sleazy left, and then he was like, haha, psych, I'm going to come back and flash back in, but unfortunately he got stuck here right at the corner there.
Oh,
that could have been a first blood right there for SK.
Okay, and you can see Ocelot, though, down to half health, has used his last health potion here. And Sleazy coming back to gank mid. He's just still not farming. He's going for this jump onto Force. Follow him around. You can see that he is going for a last hit, and there is Sleazy. Of course, his flash is down, which means he can't do enough there and won't get anything out of that one. Spawn actually got quite low, though. You can see, despite having Tarek, who actually is still not ranked a point in heal, actually.
Wow.
2 in Shatter, 1 in Dazzle, and then they got out of health, so...
Yes, that's what's happened. That's what happens when you don't have a heal. And it looks like the bottom lane is now slowly turning in Candy Panda's favor. Spawn is going to lose a little bit of farm there if they push it quickly enough. That's exactly what Candy Panda is doing right now. As you can see, he's right-clicking those minions to push into the tower as quickly as possible, just hoping not so much to do damage to the tower, but just to make the tower kill some of those creeps so that Graves misses them.
And a couple of things I want to point out real quick is Candy Panda just put a point into Ricochet now at level 4. Knowing that he's fighting against Tarek Graves that have that point stun, he wanted that early point in Spell Shield to make sure he didn't get jumped on, didn't die. And you can see his flash and his heal are both up. But Nif actually did have to burn his flash a while ago because presumably he got jumped on by Tarek and Graves, but with flash was safe. So just, you know, FYI, a little bit of those build considerations. When your lane is brutal, you might want an early point in Spell Shield.
Yes, that is not a bad idea at all. Of course, if you have the reflexes to pull it off.
Yes.
But, you know, Tariq's stun kind of travels like an ocean liner, so you should have the time. It's not the fastest particle in the game.
Not exactly, but look at the last hits right here. We can see, let's look at the mid lane first. We got 26 for this Brand, and 42, by the way, for Kassadin. So
how is he doing this? How is a under level 6 Kassadin out farming a Brand? I don't understand.
That's pretty brutal, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just really good for him.
Yep.
And there we go. Candy Panda just blocks that stun. They're fighting against Spawn, doing some good damage. They're trading back and forth a bit. And actually, they've got pretty much equal items. Plus one Doran Blade. They both had to go back and buy. And Candy Panda, wow, that damage output really massive on Spawn.
But Skarner is right around the corner right now. There is a stun now on Nif, who goes quite low. There's an ignite on him as well. But Nif doesn't worry about that at all. He's actually going to heal Candy again, isn't he? Yeah, he's just going to heal Candy. And of course, he has 2 points in heal, so those heals actually do quite a lot. At the same time, Sleazy was setting up for something mid lane, but changed his mind there as he saw Skarner come up. I think he saw, I'm not sure. He just saw him or he sensed him with his Jedi senses. Top lane, Kevin is doing a lot of damage again against the Graves there. Fromco now running for his life, and we can see the same in the CS as well. 57 for Irelia versus 33 for Yorick. So
wow.
Yorick is trying to do the whole E-spam farming thing, but it's just not working out for him.
Yeah, he is falling behind, absolutely. Actually, he put 2 points into Omen of War as well, so he's actually using that for a bit of damage early on and not just going for full sustain.
Yes.
But yeah, you know, we've seen without any kills or dragons or towers of either side, we've got a 900 gold advantage, 900 to 800 gold advantage for SK.
And Ocelot just stole the enemy blue.
Oh, wow. Nice play by Ocelot and, yeah, by Sleazy Weezy, of course. They've been coming on together, and they did seal it away, so good job.
Yep, Force still doesn't know this has been happening. He's pushing the lane quite aggressively, but now, surprise, surprise, there's an enemy Kassadin with the blue coming from the wrong angle.
Yep.
Yeah, and
they did try to steal that.
The second blue is, yeah, Skarner was trying to steal it, but look at how quickly bottom lane reacted. So I take everything back that I said before about Candy Panda and Nif being a little bit slow to leave the lane. That was very good reaction time there on protecting their own blue.
Although I think one thing they did wrong was actually clairvoyance him, because basically, you know, blue team, White Lotus, they did ward this and they did go for the steal, and SK were like, he's probably going to steal our blue. And so bot lane went up there, Kassadin went over, everyone started converging on it, and then they CV'd. And when he said, oh, the spotlight's above me, and he pieced out and Skarner ran away.
Yes.
But if they knew he was going to be there and just kind of do it, they'd be like, well, let's just bait him.
Take him,
yeah.
And Spawn has to go home again, very, very low health, and Candy Panda is just winning that lane like we predicted. He put 51 CS for Graves, well, 53 for Sivir, but she keeps sending him home, so he must be behind in experience now, mustn't he? She just hit 6, Graves is still 5, he's about at 6
Yeah,
as well.
he's close to 6, because also Sivir's recalling every time she pushes him back. She doesn't want to like fight a lane down an item, so...
Okay, and that's there we go. Ultimate, and now that's going to be quite some damage to the tower done.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually, yeah, that's doing a lot of hurt right there. They're almost out of minions, though. They've got to be a little bit careful. They will back off at about 1,000 health.
Yeah, they were very careful. There was a CV from Nif as well, making sure that nobody was coming in through the northern path there. And Graves just came back into the lane and very, very aggressively doing good amount of damage here against Candy Panda, actually. But Dumesha not in range to land the stun. Of course, there's the spell shield as well. So Darker, the Skarner came here for no reason.
Yep, he is still coming through very, very often, but they have it ward covered. Look at that, bam. There's the Boomerang Blade coming out, pushing back Skarner. Honestly, if I was Skarner, I'd just sit there and keep recalling and burning her mana, but...
Yeah. Oh, and actually, nope, I take it back. Ocelot is actually leveling the E. He just leveled that up to 2 right now. He's level 8 now. And there's the tears as well, and a second mana crystal. So, yeah, he is getting ready to use that R very, very aggressively in fights.
We're thinking Catalyst from that one?
Yeah, I'm guessing a Catalyst into probably Banshees after some AP items, because it'd be crazy to just build a late Rod of Ages. I mean, that would be pretty late, like a 15-20 minute Rod of Ages. You need the game to go 40 minutes. Yeah. It's 20 minutes, right? For the Rod of
10
Ages.
Minutes.
Is it just 10 minutes
Yeah.
for the fully... Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
Not playing APs.
Don't worry, you only work for the company that makes this game.
Yeah, that's fine. There's no expectation whatsoever of me being good at the game.
Valid.
Right, it looks like White Lotus are setting up for Dragon right now. Let's see if SK are aware of this.
Oh, they have a pick ward right there. They see him. White Lotus does not see bottom lane coming in yet, though, because Graves is actually still chilling. And, hey, by the way, they're rather nearby. Though Soraka did go to heal, so they've got to make this happen really soon. Graves has shown up there. There we go. In on the Darker. Darker taking quite a bit of damage. Boss Bandit in there as well. Sleazy almost getting blown up immediately. First blood does go down onto Tarek, but there's the Brand ult picking up Sivir back, but does get the kill back onto Skarner. Up here we can see Sleazy still jumping onto Force. Force might not get enough damage off, but it's going to be close. He will pick up the kill, but he'll die to that.
Banana!
Yeah, Soraka doing too much damage now, double buffed.
And there's Kevin right now onto Spawn. Spawn getting very, very low. Misses one of the ultimates. There's one more hit, and I think that's going to be a very dead Graves. Yep, there's the slow, and there's the kill. Ocelote taking the kill for himself. That makes sense. I think that actually ended up better for SK. That was 4-2.
4 for 2, and I think Dragon's still there.
Yeah, Dragon is indeed
Dragon's still there, so very good job at SK, and of course they run by and like, yeah, sure is right there. So great job at SK, good coordination. They almost got that first kill, but I feel like Brand's ult was a little bit late, and that we sort of had the first kill already happen. Tarek died, and then I started seeing Pyroclasm come out. But if you'd gotten that early enough, I mean, they got such a fast kill on that Sivir. She did drop down right after that first kill happened, and if they'd gotten her, you know, just a second or two earlier, she really did cause most of that damage there. So
yeah, Skarner ulted her, and she was like, you know what, I know I'm going to die, so I'm just going to right-click someone before I die. And that did a lot of damage, because that, well, she just has the 2 Doran's blades right now, but that is enough. I mean, that's good damage with W and the Q going through the entire enemy team.
Yep, that
and
Boomerang Blade.
Like they are looking to take bottom tower right now. I almost have it, actually.
Yep. And those bananas now applying red buff. Niff with infinite mana doesn't exactly have problems casting heals now.
Yes.
And they are just chain pushing. You can see Soraka just Sivir running up there, just tossing a Boomerang Blade and Ricochet. And that turret might fall soon. Or I guess they're going to take that time to recall. They don't even want to go for it.
Interesting, interesting. They may have a lot of money in their hands right now. Yeah, 1,900 gold on Sivir. You do want to go and spend that. Maybe buy yourself a best friend.
Yeah, that sounds decent.
Yeah. That's what you do. Irelia in top lane still dominating that Yorick. She is at 103 CS versus 84. I would say that's an advantage for Irelia.
Absolutely.
Mathematically speaking.
Yes.
Sleazy now trying something on Brand, but Kassadin's not quite back in the lane yet, so I'm not sure what Sleazy's doing. He may just want to come and hold the lane. Not sure. No, he's waiting the brush there. And Force is warding, and yep, perfect ward there. Good, dodges the Q and actually gets the sapling. Also, he comes across the wall, puts the silence down on him, but there's Dark, and also he has to burn his flesh because he is afraid of that lobster ultimate. That is not tasty at all.
That would have hurt him by quite a bit, and
yes,
of course, Brand should have had his cooldowns back as well. So after that ult, he could have been just pulled in and hit with the seer and stun. So
yeah, but they are taking another blue away from Team White Lotus.
Yep, and they've got a lot of guys at the top too. They could almost pretty much just like jump the Yorick. Theoretically, just have the Cassidy jump over the wall with Rift Walk, and but he's gonna go ahead and just go for minions right now.
Yeah, just farm some more. And Sivir's playing against Graves by herself. Bot lane, Candy Pana should be okay there. 89 versus 85. Somehow that Spawn guy is actually a pretty good player there, Freak. It took me a while.
Somehow he's a good player. Wow, that's
I don't understand how that works. But no, he's actually really, really good.
Yeah,
whenever I look at the bottom lane, it looks like they're being dominated, and then he ends up having more CS. And oh, that was a good reaction time there on Candy Panda, shielding that stun. That was a point-blank stun, and he still shielded it.
Yep, so doing very well, very well there. The Spawn getting pushed back.
Also, that's coming bot lane right now. Yep, they have not spotted him yet, and he's going to go in. There's the mark down on Graves, and that is certainly going to be a dead Grave if Ocelot... Oh, he's actually charging his ultimate.
Oh,
yep,
dear.
That's just what I said. He likes using the ultimate for damage, and he has it at 3 stacks right now. How many is it? Is it 4 so? Yeah, anyway, he's going in right now. He missed the ultimate by a little bit, but Spawn is still going to go down. And one more ultimate on Tarek, and that should be a very, very dead Tarek right there. Oh, he flashed out of it, but it still wasn't quite enough. That was a beautiful move for the Tarek, flashing out of the Kassadin ultimate. But yeah, he just delayed his death by a few seconds.
Yeah, Brandon Skarner around there. Skarner, unfortunately, never getting it in range to pop that ultimate. They managed to kite him pretty much the entire time around. And Alhat's going to just go ahead and push this turret down with the team, and they're going to go for, it looks like the first turret kill of the game. That will be theirs. Niff going for the last hit there, and going to leave it to minions. All right.
Yeah, last hitting towers, of course, in our game, doesn't really do much. The entire team gets 150 gold no matter what we do.
Yep. And they're going to go now for the push onto this dragon, of course, when 2 were dead. Yeah, it's a long walk back from the summoning platform, so looks like going to be just fine with this one.
Yep, Skarner ultimate used there for a little bit of damage as well. And that now puts SK about, what is it, 5k gold ahead? That is pretty good.
Wow. Yeah, they're winning
about
by quite a
quarter
bit.
of the total gold that any team has.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say strong advantage right here for SK. Everything's going exactly like they wanted to go. And Ocelot is not even there with his build. I mean, he's not started buying damage. I mean, he has the boots, but that's basically it.
Yep. But yeah, that ultimate, you just need some mana, and then, you know, the AP ratio doesn't get multiplied as you get stacks of Riftwalk. It's just the 100 base damage that goes up, or the 60 base damage that goes up. So
exactly, stacks up to 10 times that, so you can do 600 additional damage if you stack it high enough.
if you
That's
can,
pretty
if you
insane.
can burn 1,000 mana per cast.
Yes, yes. If you can do that, that's probably not going to happen.
Tall order.
Yeah, you'd need to stack a few Archangels for that.
Just a few.
Yeah. It's looking very, very good though for Team SK right now. I don't know what would happen. They would need to really botch up a Nasher or just fail at the team fight. At this moment, it looks like everything's going exactly like they wanted to go, and they haven't even really started building damage on their main carries. I mean, the Sivir just now built the Bloodthirster, and Ocelot is saving money, I would guess, for needlessly large rod, or is he just gonna still go for a Rod of Ages? That's the big question right now, because he could just conceivably leave that Catalyst in his inventory until he wants to turn into a Banshee's late game.
Yeah, well,
Oh no, he's going for Rod of Ages.
yep,
Okay.
and he already combined it, so that is the Rod of Ages. +1 point for Freak. And let's see what they're going to do with this one. So they're pushing through mid a little bit. Sleazy kind of spamming down on this, getting babysat by Soraka. I still think, though, there's a pretty good chance for White Lotus because, again, they have that Yorick Graves combo. You know, looking at sort of what they've got here, you know, Maokai's great for AoE, but he's not, you know, I think most of his power really is in his ganking potential, and of course that's worked well so far. They've gotten a number of kills, some of them enabled by Maokai, some of them enabled just by his invasions, by giving blue to Ocelot, things like that. But I think Skarner, you know, is a scaling monster. I think Graves is a scaling monster. Of course, you know, granted Sivir is as well, but, you know, they have the ignites to block out those heals. And honestly, in a big enough team fight, if you don't get enough durability, and again, this team has a lot of stuns and suppressions, you can just pin down this Kassadin. If Kassadin gets in range to hit a Riftwalk, he can get Skarner ulted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, this is enough. Like, they can burn through that health. Like, yeah, he's got some magic resist, but Graves is a burst caster AD. So, you know, he gets hit there by Q and R at point blank, and he's going to lose like half his health. So, realistically, you know, I think certainly SK are winning, and honestly, they're likely to win this game because of this advantage, but you cannot count the team composition out. There's definitely an opportunity to come back here.
Right. Yorick, of course, losing his top lane rather hard against Irelia. But Irelia's just, well, she's now finished the Trinity Force, and I think that should make you quite happy, Freak.
Oh, yes.
That means she's not going to go all tanking. Oh, look at that Tariq's health there.
0 MR on him.
Yeah, that's probably not good. What I mean by that is that that Irelia can still jump in and actually force Skarner to burn his ultimate on her, because she is going to be a threat with the Trinity Force. She actually puts out quite some damage.
Yes, tons of.
Yes, I didn't want to infringe on your copyright.
Thank you. Yeah, that is my line to say. Don't you dare steal that.
Yes.
Let's see what they can do. So they do have 3 mid. Irelia's going to go back towards top lane, actually, and just jump around on the minions. And back to bottom she goes. Okay, back to mid she goes. No,
Yes.
she's... okay, back to farming. Never mind.
Ocelot's still doing a lot of damage against anyone who gets anywhere within range. He's only at 87 AP right now, and they actually just warded it, and Sleazy Weezy going in against the great Yorick, but nobody following up. Beautiful ultimate there from Brand, but it's not actually doing enough damage. There's Yorick falling to Ocelot, who immediately flashes out again. Tariq falls as well, and I think that should be the team fight right there for SK. Yep, there's Graves and Skarner going down as well, and that could be a mid-init there. Irelia jumping in against the turn. There's the... Oh, no, not quite. Yeah, that's the ace. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Ocelot taking a lot of damage from that turret, but thankfully had the Soraka heal on, which made him survive that little encounter. And that was just a complete ace right there. They absolutely jumped on. And it was a 4v5 to start as well, as Kevin was not there at the beginning. She did jump in partway through that fight, but I mean, they just dominated that fight really, really hard. Just Maokai ran in the front. You took a little bit of that front-loaded burst, didn't really care so much. Yep. And they just crushed everything. We saw basically Tariq just died to Ignite, basically, got bursted down to about 5%, and they're like, yeah, he'll fall in school, whatever.
And I saw a Brand ultimate go in and actually bounce perfectly between Sivir and Soraka and not do any damage. I think as a Sivir must have spell shielded on the first bounce. That's
could have spell some of it. Still a summoner heal up, so it wasn't that, but Nick definitely did burn Wish, so that was some of it. Did have that rank 5 heal, that's a big deal as well. And they just got enough health back. They survived all that that opening burst. Yeah.
That is going exactly the way it should. And everybody who was saying that SK's new team is not practice, and I think that team fight, even though Kevin wasn't there when he should have been there, it still went really, really well for them. And you saw Ocelot's positioning in the brush. He was in the very, very front. He wanted to do damage right away. And I really liked how he jumped over the wall with his ultimate just to finish someone off and immediately flashed out again before White Lotus could take advantage of the fact that he just got himself into the fight.
That is definitely a very smart move.
Yep.
You can see Candy Panda does have his Bloodthirster. That is actually all the way already stacked.
Wow.
Trying to see what Graves has, because he was winning. He was, tied in minion kills, and Graves, oh wow, he has a pickaxe and Doran's blades.
Yeah.
He's going Infinity Edge, but
I mean, that's the 8 assists versus 2 assists, right? And 1 kill.
just now enough gold to buy a BF sword. He's just very much behind in items.
Yeah, I was love finding Tariq here in the middle of the enemy jungle, and oh, so much damage! One more ultimate, and that Tariq is definitely down. Oh, nice! That was a nice little combo there, but it's not gonna be enough. He stunned him and immediately flashed, hoping that he'd get away before he could ulti after him, but that didn't happen.
And he even had the clairvoyance to spot. He's like, hey, this guy flashed. He stunned and flashed over the wall. Can you see V? Yep. Okay, there he is.
Oh,
Easy.
wow, that was great. And Spawn, what are you doing? Ocelot is still around. And not quite sure why Ocelot's not falling up. He didn't see the rest of the team, I guess. But that would have been like one more ulti. Kevin and Boss Spawn are not in any trouble at all as Sivir just pops the ultimate. Kevin actually has to flash because he doesn't want to get Skarner ultied.
Could get Sivir.
Yes, actually gets Skarner ulted right there. And that is definitely a dead Sivir right now.
Even Olds just, I really want you to die.
Yeah, that was necessary. But okay, I guess that's
too long of a
kill.
cooldown. It's an 86 second cooldown. That's honestly not that bad.
Okay.
By the time Sivir gets back into another team fight, it'll probably be up. And actually, one thing that's actually really good about that, not only did they get, of course, the gold and the experience for the kill, but now Sivir has to restack that Bloodthirster.
That's true.
She's just lost 40 attack damage and 10% lifesteal. That's actually a pretty big deal.
Maybe Kevin should have just stayed there and made himself available for the Skarner ult, you know?
Yeah, maybe. She could have maybe tanked it.
Yeah. But yeah, still, that doesn't change anything about the game. SK are more than 11k gold ahead right now.
Jeez, yeah.
And actually, we just missed Kevin killing somebody in the top lane.
Why was
just
Tarek top lane?
I don't know. Farming, I guess.
I guess.
Or being farmed. Rather.
Yeah, well,
yes.
as the case may be.
Yeah, so White Lotus, definitely a very strong team. I mean, the bottom lane is very, very impressive here, but they may not be quite on the same level as SK. And I don't think anyone really expected them to make it out of the group stage here.
Fair enough. Yeah, they were the big unknown, though. You can see, Curse missing their lineup and Solo mid, possibly on a very big losing streak. Certainly SK seems to be in great form right now, and maybe White Lotus is having a bad game, but you never know. The rest of the group, we haven't seen them yet. We have no idea if the sort of, just thrown together lineup of Curse is going to do well, or if Team Solo mid is going to pick up their game because, they hadn't been doing that well in scrims before, so. You never quite know. And they're actually going to jump in right now. They've popped the Shirelles, and there we go. Force has been knocked. And, oh, man, that is bad for you, taking so much damage. The ult does go off. Sleazy might get killed right away. The Maokai rather low on health, but looks like Tarek will fall. Sleazy, one more take of Ignite, will drop as well. So that's 1-for-1 in this fight. And there we go. Ocelot just running around, blowing people up. Has fallen. Now Darker's gone, though. Looks like they've lost 2 for 3. And SK are coming ahead farther and farther. They've dropped another one. Now Spawn is alone, but he's alone against 2, which isn't too terrible. Kevin can't quite chase that one down. It looks like
Candy Panda died to tower, actually. That's he didn't manage to get it out of tower range there in time, and that Graves, that kill went to Graves, but it was actually the tower finishing him off.
Well, that's going to happen sometimes when you jump into a team fight inside of their base.
Yes.
I hear base defenses couldn't matter sometimes.
Kind of, yes. They can be kind of painful like that. But still, yeah, I mean, that wasn't a perfect fight there. Ocelot dying way too early there as well with his very, very aggressive usage of his ultimate. But still, SK are in a position where they can actually allow themselves to do something like this and just play a little flashy. They're still winning this game.
Yeah, they did pick up a turret. They did pick up, +1 kill, which of course is very relevant. Sivir dying again means again she's still, out of Bloodthirster stacks. But with the surviving member being Graves there, Graves is 2-3, and being 2-3 on a losing team is not so bad. And this brand 3-3 as well. I mean, they are kind of the main carries here. I mean, Yorick's job is to make Graves better, let's be completely honest. Yorick's power level individually doesn't matter so much, so the correct champions are getting all the kills. And also one thing to point out, depending on when the assists were timed, Tarek being 0-6 means he's not worth all that much gold, which means that, those kills mean a little bit less individually. And of course you can see, they've got, 12,000 gold in the advantage. Obviously it's a big deal, but it's where that 12,000 gold is the most important part. And actually...
Skarner had to pop his Shirelles to get away from just Ocelot and Sivir. I like that too, by the way, in the fight in top lane just now. They coordinated Shirelles with Sivir ultimate. Very, very powerful, of course. That's just so much move speed for the entire team.
A little bit.
You get in range in no time at all.
Yep, and now actually an Atma's being picked up, so she's actually relying quite a bit on auto attacks. You can see 183 attack damage, quite a bit of attack speed as well. That critical chance in there for both Trinity Force and from the Atmas. That's actually a pretty big deal. She's actually, going for a lot of that fighting there and isn't stacking giant resist. Only 100 magic resist, for example.
Yep. Now they're going for the bot inhib, and the question is, will White Lotus actually try to contest this? Will they try to go in and open possibly with another Skarner ultimate on one of the carries? Ocelote poking a little bit by using his ultimate to keep himself safe. They don't have to commit to a fight at all. They can just wear down the inhib slowly but surely. And there's a Sivir ultimate making sure that they don't want to, White Lotus don't want to attack into this right now, and they just give up the inhibitor.
Yep, the mobility advantage is definitely very, very big from SK, and that they got to the inhibitor. Of course, they just caught Darker. Oh, Skarner, you were alone, and that was a mistake, and you are gone. And now it's a 5v4. The Sivir ult is gone. Of course, it did allow them to get that kill. They ran over rather quickly.
And that's going to be Baron. That's going to be definitely
That is likely Baron. You're absolutely right
without the smite on Team White Lotus, there's absolutely no danger to SK. And Ocelote is even going to hang around and say, like, yeah, you want to go and check Baron? I'm going to one-shot you.
That's true. Although, Oracle's on Terex, if he doesn't get caught, there's the ward out. Wow, if Ocelot goes for this, he's crazy.
Yes, well, he is crazy. We know that already.
A little bit of damage. There's the ghoul. Face checks that brush. He's going to bait the team away a little bit.
Yeah, he's
They're down to half.
falling.
He actually can't go for it, so they're going to jump in on the enemy team. Oh my gosh, you are so incredibly dead, Mr. Tarek. And they've actually jumped in onto Spawn as well, who's actually dropped immediately, being revived by Yorick. Ocelot having to run away. Kevin pretty low as well. Can Spawn do enough damage? Everyone flashing away over walls. Kevin very, very low, will fall down. And Sleazy's in the middle of this as well. Will Yorick die? He's actually baiting for Ocelot. And the Sivir Q comes out as well, and they do pick up that kill. Only Kevin died, and they picked up 3 kills for it. That was incredibly good team play by SK. That looked a little bit hairy for a while. Yeah,
Ocelote flashing in and using his ultimate here to go after Skarner. Now the Shirelli are used by White Lotus, but as soon as they run forward, they turn around and run backward again because they realize there's all of SK, and there's the ulti kill from Ocelote. It's not looking very good for you right now, Darka. You are in a bit of a sticky situation. Yep, he's going to try to get himself out of there, but it's just not going to happen for them. It looks like we're at the scoreline of 23-7. Freak, SK are going to close this game out.
Yep, they're onto the middle inhibitor now, and the ability of their team to just jump onto people is really, really phenomenal. They've got Cassidy who can jump in and out. They've got the amazing route from the initiate from Maokai.
Yeah.
And of course the ability with that Sivir ultimate just to have everyone run up there, and even the slower members like Sivir without her ultimate, of course, and Soraka, they're actually going to be pretty quick when that is on, and it's enabled them to jump onto people and do a lot of great things with that.
Yeah, and it doesn't look to me like White Lotus really have an answer. I mean, they do have a good damage output right now from Graves. Brand never really got there with just 135 CS. He has a Rylai's. I mean, that's great for you. It's gonna make people slow, but it's not gonna do all that much damage.
Yep.
And that is really the problem. You have 1.5 Graves assists. They're doing the damages.
Yep. That's
really it. Well, he does, yeah, and a seal. So he's a force to be reckoned with. But on the other hand, look at the other team. I mean, there's Sivir doing tons of damage. There's
Trinity Force.
Yeah, there's a Trinity Force on Irelia. And yeah, Ocelote is also kind of big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really would take, as far as individual damage output, I would take this Graves over this Sivir, just because the amount of damage there from Infinity Edge Seal is very, very large, and just in general, the steroids on Graves are quite good. But, it's not going to matter when you've got the full team to consider. You've got, the Spell Shield can stop a lot of that initiation. Right. You actually saw her block Skarner ultimate last time. That's when they had that 2v4 at the turret. That was because Skarner tried to get Sivir, and she blocked the ultimate with Spell Shield. And that enabled her to survive and enable the rest of that team to fight, because, Skarner committed to a battle that was basically counter-initiated.
Yeah.
And now they're just going for bottom.
Tell me, Resident 24's expert, how does it work with the W? Oh, sorry, as we just see a team by breaking out right there. They're jumping immediately on Yorick. Yorick goes down in no time at all. They're fighting inside the Maokai ultimate. That's, of course, not a great idea. Kevin picking up the kill on Tarek. There is going to pick up the kill on Graves as well. Actually, Nif getting the kill credit there for Skarner. They're ignoring the rebirthed Yorick, who used his ultimate on himself, I guess, because he got focused so quickly he didn't get in range of Graves. And that's the team fight right there. Already another ace. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a surrender right now.
Yeah, they're definitely very, very good. Excellent job. GG, well played out there. And SK now going for just the last couple turrets there. The next is going to fall as well. And this is going to be GG. SK 1-0 in the group stage. Next match, of course, will be Curse versus Team Solomid, who have finally shown up at the venue. And we're going to see how the rest of this goes down, because there's still so many more games to show. You were correct in your prediction about SK being the team to beat, and they've done phenomenally, but we do not know how the rest of this will turn out. So, stay tuned. Of course, we do have many more games to go. And so, let's look into this game, in particular, not just setting up the rest of the day, but also what else going on in this one. And looking at the scoreline here, the very unfortunate Tarek, he went for that aggressive early game with the Ignite there to try to shut down the Soraka, and it managed You know, they went equal in minions.
Right.
Which
is an achievement.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, when you got a giant heal bot, aka Sivir, or Soraka onto that Sivir, I mean, and they're still going equal in last hits. That takes a lot of skill. And actually, by the end of the game, Graves did out CS that Sivir, so already rather impressive there. But the mid game fell apart for them so badly, where Sivir got first blood. She got assists on the rest of those kills for that dragon fight, where they went 4-2. That's going to put you ahead about 1,000 gold. And so she finished a Bloodthirster, had upgraded boots, had a couple Thorns blades, and Graves was like, almost got a BF sword, bros. Almost there.
Almost there. Just hang on another 40 minutes or so, and we'll be fine.
Seriously. And
if you just look at the scoreline of Oslador, it's really clear that something worked well for him. And Kassadin is just one of those super snowballing champions. In case you missed it, 13-1-10 the scoreline here for SK Slot. Yeah, and like I said, the ultimate usage on Kassadin, it is scary, it's dangerous and risky. We saw that, we saw him just die immediately in that one fight. But when it works out, it's so much damage, and you just don't expect to have that much of a burst from Kassadin.
Yeah, and he actually went for, you know, he went for that Rod of Ages by about 16 minutes when he combined it. That tier turned into Archangels rather quickly, and he had the Sorcerer Shoes, and then he was going Death Cap. He was just like, I'm going to get these mana items, you know, rush the tier, rush a Catalyst, turn into Rod of Ages, get Sorcerer Shoes, finish Archangels. Okay, now I'll, you know, build this Death Cap that all mages build. He really is, as you said, relying on mana, relying on the ultimate, and it got him a lot of those kills. Just flash Ignite, jump on a guy, just go for that damage output, and it worked absolutely phenomenally for him.
Yep, and the enemy brand, like I said, with the Rylai's, that's just, it's no damage output really to be afraid of. Yeah.
I mean, he wanted to be durable. He knew that, you know, getting jumped on by a Kassadin kind of scary. He went Mercury Treads, for example, but he was not just a big enough threat. I mean, his minion kills were all right. I mean, for a losing team and, you know, for 5 deaths, having 139 is not terrible, but he did lose the lane pretty hard. You know, that early lane, he was down like 20 minions at like 7 minutes, and that is really harsh. I think he kind of got outplayed by Ocelot. But, you know, rushing that Rylai's isn't the worst thing in the world. It'll let you shut down someone like Aurelia because your passive will keep taking the slow. You know, you've got basically by landing E, you guarantee you land Seer. You get the single target slow off the initial burst of damage there. You know, Rylai's is not a bad item on brand, but it's all he ever got. Right? He had one Doran's Ring. He went Mercury Treads. You know, he went for durability, which again I understand, but it means that they don't have magic damage output anymore. And you could just sort of see in these fights that they were pretty close fights. I mean, sometimes, of course, they had to fight in a Maokai ultimate, and that made it difficult. But they couldn't get through everyone else. They just, you know, Maokai dives in there, goes for the damage output. You know, he got gold per 10. His only tank item was an Aegis, like, and he died only twice, right? Like, they could not burn through these guys.
So definitely a very, very clear game here. It's clear who is the favorite out of these two for the group. But we are going to find out about the 2 American teams in just a moment. And I'm afraid, Freak, it's going to be Demon casting this next one with me. So tell me, what should I be looking out for with Curse? You just had that interview with Liquid. Who should I be watching closest?
So I think absolutely. I think top lane has a great chance of being aggressive. If you'll believe Smack Talk, Liquid is just instant feed. So if you want to see a bunch of kills, just watch bottom lane.
Okay.
But you know, honestly, honestly, all the lanes are going to be great because there's a lot of aggressive players. You know, if you want to believe Smack Talk, both the Rayman and Liquid are going to feed. Okay. So there's that. Reginald only knows how to play aggressively. The Odd One, of course, a great ganker, does a lot of fun mental tricks. He will try to invade. He will do tons of fun stuff. Honestly, any lane could be just action-packed. So honestly, anything you watch is probably going to be a treat.
All right, cool. And we are going to go to ads real quick, I believe, and we're going to come back with Curse versus Team Solomid. So don't go anywhere. Let's see the first 2 American teams here in Kiev.
Now Taz, and he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hat-trick from Taz.
He flashes in and casts the ultimate. Lena, 20 health left. Oh, no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. An amazing defense. Champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.